Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. You have made it once again, and Sarah Spivey is already giving jazz hands. On Pickup Lines, it is the talk show in a car, and I have commandeered meteorologist Sarah Spivey for just a short time.
I feel so honored. This is a big deal, Ernie.
How so, Sarah? Because now you're going to give me a big head.
Because Pickup Lines, man, like, first of all, cool name.
Thank you.
Love that that's the name of it.
And yeah, because originally when I first named the show, people thought I was trying to pick up women.
No, I didn't catch that
Thank you,
at
because
all.
I'm happily...
Okay. Same.
Yes, to be clear.
Michael's probably watching this. Love you, Mike.
Okay, and same to Tammy. Same to Tammy. But, well, that's very kind. And everybody here at KSAT, again, as we are literally sitting in the shadow of the KSAT 12 building, has been amazing to me and has embraced this. Because as you probably have learned by now, I do love to talk.
Oh my gosh. Well, yes, but also we're so happy to have you too,
Thank you.
Ernie.
Thank you. It's very sweet.
I've watched you on air for a while, so it's been so cool to have you be my coworker. I
That's
get to claim you as a coworker now.
Okay. Well, and it's what can I say? It's amazing. I'm still pinching myself. But enough about me. We're here to talk about you.
Okay.
All right. So obviously, I know you're a new mom.
Yes.
You've been doing the weather for it, and I want to get to all of that. But I typically like to go back.
Okay.
And work my way forward. And so you are a local product.
I went to middle school and high school
Okay.
here in San Antonio.
So you went to Clark High School. You're
Yes.
a cougar. So where were you born?
I was born in Kansas City, Kansas. Well, technically Shawnee, Kansas.
Okay.
Which is a suburb of Kansas City. I lived there for like 5 years.
Okay.
And then we moved to the DFW Metroplex.
All right.
And then for a while we were there. Then my dad became a nurse. My dad is a nurse practitioner.
Okay.
And we wanted to move to San Antonio because that's where my aunt and uncle lived. And still live, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, so we moved here when I was in 8th grade.
Now, when you were making that move, do you remember having any feelings of, I don't want to go to San Antonio, or I'm not having it, why are we moving?
It wasn't necessarily that I didn't want to move to San Antonio, but when you move in middle school, that's a
I don't know.
That's a pretty, like, a big deal.
Yes.
Like, your social circle's
Yes,
changing.
for sure.
You're awkward in middle school. You are. Nobody is cool in middle school.
I have 2 twin teenagers right now who are in 9th grade, who just finished middle school, so I know all about that.
There you go. And so I wasn't excited about it, but as soon as we got here, it ended up being a good move for me.
Right.
A really good move for me.
So you're how old when you came here to San Antonio?
In the 8th grade.
8th grade.
In 8th grade, halfway through 8th grade, which made it difficult too.
Like this time of year, like spring semester.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
So, but when I moved, it was great. This is going to age me one way or
That's
another.
okay.
One way or another.
All right.
I went to Rawlinson Middle School for half a year.
Okay.
And then I went to Clark. Go Cougs.
Got it. Now, at this point in your life, had you embraced the science, the weather, the meteorology? Did you know what Sarah Spivey wanted to be when she grew up?
I always loved science. And I also loved the theater arts. And singing. And
we'll get to that as well. You didn't bring your guitar, did you?
I did not, and I'm glad I didn't. To be honest with you, I don't want to do that right now. But I always loved performing and science, so I wanted to combine my love for the two of them. And being a broadcast meteorologist is kind of a good way to do a bit of both, right?
That's literally the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Right there.
And so but as soon as I started studying meteorology and looking into it more, just fell in love, Ernie. Fell in love with it.
Amazing. One of the first things you told me soon after I started here was you've been open about your hearing.
Oh yeah.
Over the
Got
years.
a hearing aid right now.
Would have never noticed it if you hadn't said anything, but I did not realize this was something that you've lived with essentially your entire life.
Yep. Ever since I was a little kid. So
Right.
I started. What happened is, I've always been loud.
I can
Okay?
relate to that.
I've always been loud, but
Okay.
it turned out I was loud because I had a hard time regulating my.
She had an excuse. You had an excuse.
I did have an excuse.
But it was a condition related to your eardrum, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. So I was born without one of those bones that beats on your ear to make your eardrum work. And because of that, I would frequently get these things called cholesteatomas,
Okay.
which basically just is like ear infection. And so it made me lose my hearing over time. Yeah, so I can hear in my ear, but and that's why I wear a hearing aid in that
Correct.
ear. But it's reduced by quite a bit.
When you started at KSAT, was it in 2017-ish, around that time?
Yeah, that was when I started at KSAT.
You did not have the hearing aid yet, correct?
No, because hearing aids are very expensive. Very expensive. And it wasn't until I started working at KSAT that they actually helped me a little bit with my insurance. My insurance helped.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
So I was able to afford a hearing aid, which was a big deal for me. And
Right.
yeah.
Well, also because some people may not realize we wear, in my right ear, I guess your right ear as well, we wear earpieces,
We
the
do.
IFBs, to talk to producers and to communicate. If you have longer hair, you can disguise
hide it, right?
sometimes.
And so I would put my IFB,
Right.
or how I hear the directors in
Correct.
my hearing ear, and my hearing ear, and
Yes.
because of that, it made my job a little bit difficult in the studio. I couldn't hear around too much,
Right.
And so I needed to make the change. I needed to bite the bullet and buy a hearing aid. And ever since that, Arnie, I'll be honest with you, like, it has been a game changer in my life to have a hearing aid, because I hear these tones and sounds that I've never heard before. I still remember when they put the hearing aid in for the first time. I was like, why does everything sound like tinny or airy? And the guy was like, oh, that's because that's the first time you're hearing those tones. Isn't that crazy?
I was going to ask you if you remember like the first sound or something audible that really resonated, pardon the pun, but really resonated with you when that happened.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that was the first time I had that in my ear. And then I also just remember being able to hear people better and clearer, and have more conversations easier with people.
How did it change you socially? You have to be confident already to be on television. But did it change you in any way in terms of just the way you carried yourself in being out in social settings or those kinds of things?
I think it gave me more, it did give me more confidence of being able to hear people. For a long time, I was very much of a close talker, because I couldn't hear.
Right.
And so I was able to be a little bit more relaxed in social settings and things like that.
That's awesome.
You know?
That is awesome. And you picked up a love for music along the way at some point, despite having to deal with all of this.
Oh, absolutely, because I can still hear. So,
Right.
I've always loved music so much. Again, going back to that performing, I love performing. So
Were you in theater?
I was in theater and in choir.
And in choir.
And in fact, I just got to give a shout out, because this is pickup lines. I got to
Please.
give a shout out to my my old choir teacher's family. He recently passed away.
no.
I know, after a long battle, but they are amazing. James Hare is his name.
Northside ISD.
Northside ISD.
I know my daughter, who graduated from Brandeis High School last year, was a fine arts kid, choir and theater. I know that name for sure.
Oh my goodness, yes, wonderful man. Really gave me a love for performing in a way that I had not experienced.
Oh, that's very swell. May he rest in peace and everything.
Absolutely.
Yes, those teachers and all that. I spent many nights at concerts and rehearsals and productions. And
yeah. So when I was in high school, he was the choir teacher at Clark.
Okay, very good, very good.
Yes.
Was high school a good time for you?
To be honest with you, it was a good time for me. Like, I know that some people have different experiences, but I had a great time in high school.
Very good.
I was not cool, popular.
Yeah?
But I fit in.
Did you play sports?
I did not play sports in high school.
Okay.
But I did play in middle school, and I played on the side.
Very
I love soccer and basketball. Those are my sports I love playing.
I love it. And you could still play today.
I could.
Yes.
I do find myself being very competitive. And so I don't know. Like, do you like playing sports?
I like playing, but see, I'm significantly older, and I'm at the point now where I would like to maintain the structural integrity of my knees and ligaments and ankles and everything.
I see.
And too many of I'm not joking, a number of my friends, similar age, who thought that they were in the NBA or something, have these stories of playing pickup or just like walking around
Right.
and snapping something, and it scared the you-know-what out of me. And
Oh
I
my
said, you know
goodness.
what? I'll just retire, or maybe occasionally I'll shoot a three-pointer from a distance. But
My thing is like, okay, so I said I was competitive.
Yes.
And that is my downfall too, because I will push myself beyond where I should go and could injure myself.
well, don't do that.
I don't want to.
Now you have a child. Now you have
I
a child
know.
and a husband, which we'll get to in just a little bit
gotta
because
think
we're still
about
on the
it.
journey now. So you were at Clark High School. You
Yes.
finished Clark, and then you became an Aggie.
I did. I went to Texas A&M. So I actually, though, went to Northwest Vista for a year.
Okay.
Here in San Antonio, the Alamo colleges. And that was a good experience because I got some of my credentials.
Yeah.
And I got to save a little money. And
A&M is not getting any cheaper.
well, and also, like, you know, I love my parents so much, but, like, here's the thing. I was going to help put myself through college.
Good for you.
And I did that, you know, so Texas A&M University, great university, good college. And in fact, you know, I'm a huge Aggie, so.
Yes, you are. So you were there. I'm trying to think of like the time frame. You were there like you weren't there when Johnny Manziel was there, were you?
I literally was there when Johnny Manziel was there.
Johnny football.
I'm a huge football fan.
Yes.
Huge. I said I was born in Kansas City. I'm a huge
I was going to say, well, the Chiefs.
Chiefs fan. I know that's like an issue for people now.
Well,
People like love to hate the Chiefs.
they've just won so much
I know.
in the last 5 years or whatever.
But it was, let me tell you, it was a long drought being a Chiefs fan.
Sure.
There was a long time where they were not that great.
I can remember when Joe Montana was the quarterback of the Chiefs many, many years ago toward retirement, long before your time.
Marty Schottenheimer.
Marty Schottenheimer and then Andy Reid came in and Patrick Mahomes.
Absolutely. I mean, we can talk football too if you want.
We
but
might
I don't
have
know.
to here in just a little bit.
But yeah, so I went to Texas A&M. I was there when Johnny Manziel was there. I got to go to a lot of the football
Yeah.
games. It was a great time to be an Aggie fan. Of course, then a lot of other stuff happened, you know, with Johnny Manziel and his career.
Yes.
But I still feel so proud to be an Ag.
I love it.
Gig
I
'em.
love it. Gig 'em. Okay.
You said it.
I did.
Can I hold you to that?
You can.
Okay, great.
You can. We have a few more minutes here with Sarah Spivey, KSAT 12 meteorologist.
You went to A&M for a little while.
I went to A&M for 2 years. And it's a long, complicated story, which I've told before, but essentially I got a TV job at doing sports in Victoria. And I have a family of Aggies, but ultimately I dropped out to
Yeah.
move back home to do the weekend sports at KVU in Victoria. You can imagine that conversation when I told my parents I was leaving A&M, moving back home, and I was not going to continue on college.
Okay, but the thing was you had a job, like,
I had a
Right
job
then and
making $13,000 a year.
yeah, it's true.
Doing weekend sports
when you
and-
start off in the business, it's
Right.
it's a little bit of a challenge.
But my late mother was an educator, and of course I didn't have the heart to tell her I was going to drop out of college and not finish. And so the compromise was I enrolled at University of Houston, Victoria, in Victoria, obviously, and went to school in the morning and then did the sports in the evenings, and then the rest is history.
And here we are.
UHV in the mornings, did the sports, and I did that for a year and a half, got married, sent out dozens of VHS tapes
Love it.
all over the country, and ultimately the TV gods were smiling, and I ended up here in San Antonio.
You
But
said VHS tapes like I didn't know what VHS.
well, I don't want to assume, because again,
I do. I grew
you
up.
had DVDs probably, or
No,
you
I
know.
grew up in the 90s.
All right.
I had VHS tapes.
Respect your elders.
And
Miss
if
Spivey.
anybody's watching us, I had the VHS tapes that were the you remember, you know, Nickelodeon.
Sure.
They were orange. The VHS tapes were orange.
Okay.
Yeah, that's 90s kids
That's,
stuff.
yeah. I'm sure you could find some on eBay or something.
I'm sure.
All right, a few more minutes with Sarah Spivey. Do you have to do the noon? Oh, okay.
Well, I do have to do the news.
Oh, I'm not going to keep you here that long.
But we're good.
Okay, so you finished at A&M, and then you bounced around a little bit, smaller markets before you
Yeah.
ultimately came to San Antonio. But I would think San Antonio, like a KSAT or whatever station would have called, would have been like an ideal spot for you.
Oh my gosh. So I started off at K10, Denison Sherman. It's Tornado Alley. So for me, it was like really great.
Yes.
Because I love the weather so much. So to be able to learn in the severe market was awesome.
Right.
But yes, a few years at K10, I saw that there was a job opening for a meteorologist at KSAT. And
Yeah.
I was nerding out because KSAT, I loved watching KSAT. Of
Growing
course,
up.
I love watching you too.
Oh, thank you.
But
Another place. The other place.
I loved watching KSAT.
Good answer.
And let me tell you, as soon as I saw there was an opening, I could not believe it. I
Yeah.
applied, and I got an interview, and then I got the job. I was so excited. I got the job with Katie Blake.
I remember Katie Blake,
Katie
yes.
Blake and I were hired together.
Yes.
And so it was great to be able to do this job with another female meteorologist.
Right. Right.
That was so cool.
No, I remember Katie. I know she's on social media and everything, and I knew you guys were really close. And
Hi,
she's in
Katie.
North Texas now, right?
She is, she's
Yeah,
living
North
in
Texas.
Dallas.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Okay, very good. And now you're what, 7-8 years in now?
On April 20th, it'll be 8 years.
Oh, that's like in a week and a half.
8 years. Can you believe it? 8 years. I've been at KSAT, and it's really been awesome, Ernie. I think to be able to work with people like you, like Stephanie Cerna, like Steve, our entire weather team is just so awesome. I love Adam's crazy. and
He
I
is.
love it.
Adam Caskey is crazy. I've seen that.
But it's been great.
Justin Horn, really
Yes.
nice guy. And yeah, it's just a great group all around.
And
But
Shelby.
Shelby Ebertowski, exactly. She's great as well. Now you are in the, again, pardon the pun again, in the infancy of doing this job,
Yeah.
maintaining this as a new first-time mother.
Yeah,
Changes everything.
It totally does. Oh my gosh, should I show the
Do it.
pictures of
Absolutely.
Everett? Okay. I got the big phone so I
Yeah,
can show
please,
him.
yes.
Look at this.
Here, let me,
Look
because
at
of the
him.
glare. I don't
Oh.
want
Yeah.
the glare. There he is.
There he is. Look at him. He's giving a little smirk. Let's see if we can do another picture here. Oh, I'm not used
do
to
it,
the
go.
Androids.
That's all right. Take it and do whatever you got to do.
Okay, see, again, this is behind the scenes. Okay, look at that. I'm trying not to show
Just lean him
glare.
forward. There you go. There you go.
Little Everett. And then this is him at daycare. Do you see how happy he is?
Look at that.
I miss him already. Okay.
Oh.
But yeah, it has been, I'll tell you, Ernie, so I was on maternity leave for 12 weeks.
Yes.
It was great to be able to spend that time with Everett. It was kind of hard to come back.
Oh, I'm sure. I felt terrible for you. I was here the first day you came back, and even when I went home, and my wife was like, "How was Sarah today? How was Sarah?" And I was like, "Well, she seemed okay."
I was happy to come back to work because I really do actually love what I do.
No, I get that.
Sometimes people are like, "Are you being on?" I really do. But it was hard to leave him the first couple of days. And it's been interesting trying to balance being a mom and working full time,
Right.
and also being, being a loving wife and having the house and all of this stuff. But it's been good so far. It's just hard to figure out the balance.
I know you're filling in, or you know, sometimes you work different shifts and different times of the day and everything. But I've always had a extra respect as I've watched women in this role transition to mothers in this role, and I've seen it, and I've literally stood next to some of them over the years, and just my heart goes out to you guys, just knowing how difficult it is to do this every day, period, but much less to do it with all of the responsibilities of being a new mom and having him or her at home is just,
Well, it's been great though, being able to talk with Myra
Sure.
and Courtney and Patty and Stephanie and
Other
all
moms.
the other moms
Yeah.
that are at KSAT, and it's kind of like a cool tribe to be able to get advice from them and everything.
And Sarah Costa might see this, and she's...
Hi, Sarah. She's enjoying her maternity leave right now.
She is as well. But it's great. I was sometimes women who become mothers decide to step away or not come back. I will say I was happy to hear that you were coming back from your maternity leave and you were going to continue on here.
I'm very grateful to be able to do both.
Yeah.
You know, and also I've got a ton of friends that are stay-at-home moms, and respect.
Oh, absolutely.
RESPECT.
That's right.
To those ladies, because it is a full-time job.
Thought you were going to sing it. I thought you were going to break out Aretha here for...
I don't know what your...
I would think the lullaby game at your house is pretty good at night when little Everett's trying to go to bed. Or you're trying to go to bed, and you're trying to, I would think you break out. You must.
We do sing. My husband is a phenomenal musician.
Really?
Yes, he's a wonderful musician. In fact, we've actually sang together on KSAT before.
Okay.
Like Christmas songs and stuff. So,
I know. I've heard you do stuff around Christmas time, and they'll put it on the air and everything, which I'm looking forward to that in December.
He's
and
a great
everything.
musician. He goes by the stage name Michael Parallax.
Okay.
He's like a DJ too.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Pretty
Find out more about this guy. What do you like to sing? Do you have a favorite top 2 or 3 songs that you really like to sing?
I don't know about that,
okay.
but I do listen to a lot of kind of folk music.
All right.
I did spend some time. This is gonna be funny. I did spend some time singing Selena songs.
In Spanish?
In Spanish.
Right.
No me queda más que perderme un abismo de tristeza y lágrimas de tears.
Anything. I need a moment. You've already unloaded enough surprises on me this week. Yesterday on the air, you broke into bird calls.
Okay, well, there's a story behind this.
Okay.
It's not like I'm like, hey, check out my bird call, man. No. It was a tease we were doing. A tease is like when you tee up something.
Right, correct. Yeah. Coming up, we're going to tell you this.
I'm not telling you. I'm telling them.
Right.
And
okay.
It was about the movie The Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
Correct. Yes.
And there's a very wonderful, theme song.
Absolutely.
Ooh, but I can do it.
Okay, go ahead.
And we had a moment on television, and it was funny and whatever. And then Ernie posted it on
Instagram and Facebook and everything. But you do you do a wide range of birds.
I can do a loon. Yep.
Okay, I'm just checking.
I feel like this is just, and then I can also do a duck.
All right, I'll give you my rooster. There you go. Sorry, I didn't practice. You're just full of surprise. Anything else you'd like to unload here before I?
No, you were asking what I could sing, and I used to sing that.
Selena in Spanish. Can you do the catalog? Like Como la Flor and...
I'll tell you, if there
Bidi
was
Bidi
a
Bamba?
band, maybe.
Well, if the Quintanilla family would not be happy if I started playing the music right now, I'd have to pay licensing fees and everything.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
But no me queda más. That is amazing.
And I've heard you sing. You sing great.
Well,
you do.
It's not like that, and not in Spanish.
No.
I don't have enough confidence to do that yet. Okay. Winding down here with the great Sarah Spivey, and you got a little scientist in you as well.
Science with Sarah is I'm so proud of.
Did you
Science
create
with Sarah.
that franchise? Or?
So actually, no. So before she moved to Dallas, Katie started doing that.
Right.
The science, Katie's Science Lab.
That's right.
And then I took over when she left. But I've been so excited because we've really expanded Science with Sarah, and it's like a lottery system. So if you apply, if we try, we pick a name or two. There's random, and then we reach out to you. And we
Kids
had
love
hundreds of applicants, and so we're gonna keep on doing it.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's a blast. I
It's
feel like
fantastic.
everybody, when you get down to the nitty gritty,
Yeah.
everybody does love science in one way or another.
Very cool.
Because it's exciting.
Absolutely. And you make it exciting.
Thank you.
Couple more things for you. I'm always inspired by people that have overcome things. And I mean, obviously you had your situation with your hearing, but is there anything else in your life that you've overcome or a setback? I think people can take inspiration and kind of some just positive feelings out of those kinds of stories. I don't know if you have anything else that you've dealt with in your life to help you become the Sarah Spivey that you are now.
That's a good question. I think something, if we'll be vulnerable for a bit.
Okay.
This is pickup lines. I feel like people don't know this about me, but I do get anxiety and stage fright. I do. I get stage fright. And it can make being in this business difficult at times. But I've been learning to be able to talk about it because it's more common, I think, than people realize.
I think you're right.
And it's even for people in our business, I think it can be common because you feel the pressure, right? So I've been able to work on that. And every now and then it'll come back up again. And I just take a few moments, take a deep breath. I'm a praying person. I pray and I come back to center and I'm learning how to deal with it.
Good for you.
Yes.
And thank you for being vulnerable enough to share that. Because again, I think people who see you on TV or have followed you over the years, because San Antonio, as you know, has very loyal.
Oh, they
do. Find their person, their meteorologist, and like for life.
I've
they're
met
with you.
so many
No,
people,
I know you have.
and it's so great.
I have too. I think it's fantastic. I guess lastly, do you have a bucket list or something that you would want to accomplish? You're still so young and have many, many more years hopefully ahead of you, but something kind of cool that you haven't done that you'd like to do?
Yeah, are you talking about like a career?
Anything.
Or just anything?
Well, life.
Okay. Yes, I think for me, I would love to learn Spanish really. Really,
I'm with you on that.
Really learn it. Like I can understand and I can speak something. I can speak some conversationally, but I would love to learn it and know it so much so that it's in the back of my head. And then of course I love traveling, so I would love to travel.
I've been told you need to go, like just immerse yourself in Mexico somewhere, and just if we had a month to spare or whatever, just to do that. Or
maybe I could make a goal to do the
6
forecast.
weeks. You should.
At some point.
Entiendo mucho, pero no puedo hablar con confidencia.
¿Por qué no?
Porque, como se dice, I get all in my own head and I get,
Same.
self-conscious.
I do as well. Yeah.
I tell people I'm trying to still figure out English some days.
I know.
But I do. I get self-conscious, and I have nobody to blame but myself. My late mother, God bless her, was a Spanish teacher. All my fault. It's on me. But I'm hoping to get there someday.
Me too, Ernie. Let's work on it together.
Stephania, who sits next to me in the newsroom, and Patty and others have said
Patty's been teaching.
they're helping me. So we're going to get
Absolutely.
there.